Warning, the video you're about to watch is about a game that contains flashing lights, satanic cults, potentially disturbing imagery, and a couple instances of wieners, which I had to censor even though I never really wanted to see them in the first place. If you feel uncomfortable about any of these, this is your only warning, though I've tried to keep it as PG as possible. Okay, can't say I didn't warn you, let's get this started. Finding new hidden games can be an adventure. Go explore, look up new games, search new things to try, and maybe you can truly find something that'll leave a solid experience where you weren't expecting it.
Finding the game for me, huh? Okay, today's the day I follow my own advice. Today I'm going as deep as the internet legally allows me to do. Legally. Let's see, my favorite genre, 2D retro platformers, games like Shovel Knight, Mega Man. But I've played so many of them before. I want something different, something that maybe reconstructs the genre, the formula? There it is! I found it!
A platformer with new twists on the modern retro style, a game that not only defies the laws of the genre, but even the way we perceive gaming. A game so underrated and unknown that I managed to find it through a small Destructoid article. A game called Mibibli's Quest.
But you know, barely anything's known about it. I haven't been able to find a single review on this thing. So, is it really the great game I've been searching for? Let's see. Oh wow, this is awesome! Wait, what? Oh no, oh! No! Yep, I definitely messed up this time. Okay, let's do this. Hey everyone, and welcome to Balrog's Game Room, where today, I played one of the weirdest, hardest, and most traumatizing games ever. A game with decapitated heads of yourself as enemies, some of the most depressing NPCs of all time, and a cross power-up. Yep, my parents would not approve of this. And it's made by a dude who made not one, but two games about finding your missing, wiener, the sausage. One is called Peen Peen. I show you the logo, but it has a penis lobster on it. Not what you're thinking, it's like a penis made of lobster arms. You know what, don't ask. That was a weird day. You know, can't be that bad. Let's try it out. Maybe I'm overreacting here. We're gonna try it out. Sexuality is ever present and permeates your being. Oh boy. No! No, God! What? Are you kidding me? So welcome friends to the pay what you want PC platformer called Mibibli's Quest. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna get a drink. An alcoholic one, just to clarify.
So the plot here's, well, you play as this guy, Mibibli. He has a rival, Crocodibli. Pretty much, these two guys want to kill each other and the world sucks for some reason. Maybe I'm missing some sort of symbolism here, but yeah, that's it. Nothing is really coherent here. The NPCs spout random nonsense ranging from, welcome to the art world, to sometimes I wet my pants and everyone makes fun of me.
You don't know that.
But I think that's really part of the game's charm. Instead of going on a world-building spectacle about saving depressed citizens, it creates a random story with a sense of uneasiness that you don't know what to expect next. Not to mention the game can do whatever it wants since it's not rated by the ESRB. One second you're in a field of flowers, the other you're fighting soldiers that hatch out of eggs, and sometimes you're dead and to come back to life you need to insert your soul in an arcade machine where a character is a loaf of bread?
You know, I'd be surprised, but after Peen Peen, none of this phases me anymore. You're gonna need more than that to surprise me. Okay, don't surprise me anymore! Get the sin out of my PG-rated show! Except that guy. That guy has an appreciation for good fabric. What? I bet his robe is silky smooth.
You're pretty much just taking a trip into the creator's mind, and the further you get, the more messed up it is. And it's one incredible mess. Anyway, when you start up the game, it pretends to put an NES cartridge in the program, which I thought was kinda cute, and the title screen pops up where you choose a new file. Now I know this is a little thing, but I love when a game mocks you for choosing a lower difficulty level. When you choose a lower level, the music starts getting all silent and messed up, so it makes you feel all wimpy. If you choose easy, there will be more platforms, health upgrades, the whole 9 yards. From experience, this makes the game about the same, if not a little harder than a Mega Man game. Also, you won't get the real ending, but we'll get back to that later. If Mega Man games gave you trouble in the past, or you're not really into platformers, there's Very Easy, which doubles your health and puts even more platforms, but whatever you do, don't start on the Mibibli difficulty. It's a bad idea, you're gonna get upset, and oh god, this is coming from a guy who beat Battletoads. Just trust me on this one, okay? When the game begins, you start out on an intro stage called Art Zone. Usually before levels start, there's one of these NPCs that I mentioned earlier that tell you something silly. The vast majority of the time, they aren't very useful, but I usually got a kick out of each one. Maybe it's because it's out of place, but come on, how aren't you gonna laugh at a floating ticket telling you, do not forget your ticket? It's like going to leave the house and floating keys tell you, don't forget your keys, and they're actually not even your keys. Think about that one. Anyway, the gameplay here should feel right at home for platformer fans. It's essentially the same formula as Mega Man with a few adjustments. First of all, instead of a robot, you're a Mibibli, which is like this fox human thing? I don't even want to know. For jumping, Mibibli has some weird physics going on where you have a lot of control over where he ends up, but can't really jump that high. It feels a lot different than most platformers, and people can argue it's floaty, but I got used to it really fast and I never had any issues. Lastly, instead of a gun of sorts, you have these shuriken things that eventually fall after a while, and automatically fall when you shoot close to an edge. It sounds confusing, but the game explains it really well. And that's a big feature for Mega Man that I'm super glad this game used, teaching the player obstacles in an isolated environment on one screen and then testing them in the next. For instance, when you shoot, you realize you can destroy a certain kind of boulder. Then you come to a dead end with said boulders on the ground you know you can destroy, so instinctively you shoot and watch the shurikens fall. So there, you know, a new game mechanic. The game never needed to give me a tutorial, nor does it look like it would want to offer me one. So my growth as a player felt really organic. Its mechanics are solid. Another thing I really like is how the game treats power-ups when you get them later in the game. Instead of Mega Man or Shovel Knight where they give you a huge arsenal and you have to stop what you're doing to choose one, Mibibli's quest instead focuses on 5 main power-ups that you can change on the fly by either pressing up or down, which means any weapon is no more than 2 slots ahead or back. It even takes a second to kick in case you click the button by accident, and I memorized their placements in no time. To add on to these power-ups, Mibibli will also get powers that add to his default moves, like dashing when you press jump, shoot in a direction at the same time, the Void, which kills enemies a close distance from you, and even a charge shot for your main star weapon that shoots in a slightly angled direction. Oh, and there's a cross. I'm just gonna let you fill in the gaps for that one. They're all really fun to use except for the crystal, I still can't figure that one out, and the upgrades feel, once again, organic without the need of a heavy learning curve. I certainly prefer this upgrade system over the old Mega Man games. Lastly, the life system in Mibibli's quest is what you'd expect from retro platformers, but with 2 big twists. First of all, each stage is a midway checkpoint where once again you find some NPC hanging out. But here, there's also an item that'll give you max lives. This may not sound like much, but think about it. In every life-based platformer, if we die too much at the beginning of the stage, we instinctively kill our players so we get a game over and start with more lives. But with max lives at the midway point, you don't have to worry about getting killed until you reach that flask, which means you won't lose anything by dying and you'd have to respawn at the beginning of the stage anyway if you get a game over. It's a really clever idea that may not have worked in other platformers, but functions perfectly in this one. Which leads us to the second twist. There was no score in Mibibli's quest. There is no currency in Mibibli's quest. In fact, an NPC even makes fun of it. And most importantly, there are no 1-ups in Mibibli's quest. It's 3 lives, max lives at the midway point, and that's it. Everyone's on an even playing field, and it even got me to focus a lot more on beating the level rather than finding a way to harvest lives. Also, in the second half, it stirs up a lot of tension knowing it's all you have until you beat the stage. People can argue that the life system for platformers is outdated, but once again, I think the system works really well here and gets people to master each individual level. The developer, Ryan Melmoth, did a really good job, though I have no idea what he looks like, so instead, you get the title screen. Sorry.
And there you have it. That's all the Mibibli. That's all the game's mechanics. I hate that tongue twister. So with that out of the way, it's time to talk about the levels and world themselves. So prepare yourself for the story of a lifetime. My quest. Balrog's quest. Patent pending.
So right after I beat the intro stage, I was kinda confused as to what was happening. I ran into my rival, Crocodibly, and when you shoot him, my shurikens make a diagonal line which pierces the screen in half and trigger the boss fight. Thinking this was a serious battle, I gave it my all, shooting and avoiding bullets, and hey, where do you think you're going with that? Come back with the health bar right now, stop! Oh, he has max health.
Is this some kind of joke to you?
So anyway, I kept fighting him in midair this time, but I kept fighting him, and Mibibli and Crocodibly continued to fight for an immeasurably long time. Eventually, they got bored and parted ways.
So that's the way you want it!
After the battle, you end up in the game's community-type place, Yumtown, which is full of nothing but sad people. Each person has some sort of remark regarding their inner struggles, and I guess it did succeed on making me feel bad for them. Afterward, you end up in a glitch world saying, "You are a hero," so I'm assuming you're trying to save the world, and then you reach the title sequence. Even though the game pulled all this crap on me already, you know when there's a scene in a game that just spells out you're in for something amazing? When a game just nails the atmosphere and hypes you up, that's what this did for me. And within seconds, I was in the World Hub living the dream platformer I've always wanted. And I was ready to kick some crocodile butt. Do they even have butts? I mean like an actual butt. I mean, I know they poop, but... So each level in the game follows a different sort of theme, yet at the same time doesn't follow one at all. For instance, the city level takes place in the city, but all the NPCs are obsessed with hats. I say, there was nothing more cherished by a man than his hat. There is no truer truth. My hat is too small for my very slightly larger than average head. Heck, there's a hat in this stage you can even wear. It's freaking beautiful. I'm euphoric just looking at it. No, what really weirded me out in the city was the enemy design. You got these creepy face things that explode, hashtags attacking you, D-pads spawning all over the place, and whatever this is, let me look that up. It's a factory Ibli. Factory Ibli. Get it? It's a factory, and all the enemies end with Ibli.
You know, I've had it up to here with you today. I'm so done.
What I'm trying to say is that while the enemy design and theme are at a complete clash with each other, they still end up feeling like a cohesive level, which just seems so genius to me. And on top of that, all the levels feel memorable, but something that really stands out to me in each one. And as weird as it is, it's kind of like going into an art gallery as Mega Man. Now that's something I never thought I'd say ever, and at first I thought this was just one of those, this platformer's just made to mess with you, ha kind of games, but after a couple of levels, the weird just becomes natural.
I get it. I don't need to keep fighting the game's weird stuff anymore. I just gotta get in with it. Let's go! Let's get busy!
Now this is no exaggeration. Rave is my new all-time favorite platforming level. You start off just falling on arrows where you have to press the right one to pass, but when you reach the bottom, there's a whole line of them coming at you. And you have to press them at just the right time correctly or you get blasted and lose a huge chunk of your health. From there, the level just gets more complex. There's these mines that explode into arrows when you blow them up. Enemies will shoot arrows at you, forcing you to not just mash the attack button, but also the given pattern. And you even have to avoid arrows when two of them mash together in the same place, since it's extremely hard to pull those off. Being a huge DDR fan, this level and I were a match made in heaven. Also, it has Dampy, the poorly drawn dancing mouse, so bonus points for that.
That's how he dances, right?
Then there's others like Crystal Cars, which start you out in a Space Invaders minigame, where you press buttons to move the ship around, and if you win once, there's a shortcut you can take. It's genius, and even when you're speedrunning the game, it's still a viable option. Heck, I've played on this thing just for fun, and enough that I found out that if you beat it the second time, there's a secret level to go to. I highly suggest you get the game and check it out yourself. So anyway, back to the World Hub. Mibibli's quest is split into 3 worlds. Well, 4 including a secret one, where each world is centered around a different premise. The first one is about getting 3 hammers from 4 levels to choose from, and get some cow thing out of the way. Wait, are you gonna hammer that poor thing? That's messed up, man. I love cows. Even though I eat them on a daily basis. The second world is 8 stages, with each one granting you a new power to take down Crocodibli with, and the third world is, get this, the future where Mibibli travels to 7 days before Crocodibli dies, just for the satisfaction of seeing him dead. The reason I'm telling you all this is because as the game progresses, so does the design. What starts off as a weird yet charming platformer slowly turns into finding new powers and the final 7 days that put your skills to the test. It's near seamless, and alongside the design, the game just keeps getting weirder and weirder. And oh my god, everyone is dead, and I'm fighting dead corpses of myself that have homing heads when they explode. Yep, there's a satanic cult doing human sacrifices over there. Oh my god, what is that? That's disgusting! If you haven't noticed, the game has absolutely no boundaries. It just keeps surprising you the entire playthrough, which is an amazing feat for a platformer. Usually by the end of these games, you're intimidated. You're fighting recycled content. You just want to get the game over with. But in Mibibli's quest, you're glued to the screen just to see what it'll put out next. Some levels aren't even levels, they're just strolls through weird places. Another tactic used to psych you out. And as horrific as this part is, it's definitely the highlight of the game that'll be etched in my gaming soul forever. But hey, I'd rather it be ambitious than just play it safe. There's like a million retro platformers out there. Everyone and their mother makes one.
But just for the record, they're still my favorite, okay?
So Mibibli's quest sure was, yeah. But there's so much more to talk about. How is the game as a complete package? Are the rest of the levels as good as the ones I highlighted? Does anything actually get explained? Well, let's get straight to the review and
find out soon-ish. Guys, I'm sorry. This video ended up way longer than I expected, so because of that, I'm going to be releasing the second part of this video next week that contains the review and the spoiler section. Hopefully, you'll like it. It has more wieners if that's your thing. So while you wait, I'd really like to hear what you guys think about the game, so maybe you could try downloading it. The link is in the description. It's actually a free game, but I suggest paying the guy because he put 2 years of work into it. And come back once you played it and maybe see if you agree or disagree with me. I'd really like to hear your opinion. So until next time, I'll see you guys soon with the part 2. It was 10 pages, single space. None of that indentation crap, none of that spacing, whatever. 10 straight pages. I did it all for you guys. Because I love you.
Okay, bye.